So actually our present condition is that we are conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Satoguna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna are influencing us. And in that conditioned state, it is not possible to awaken our spiritual emotions, our spiritual feelings of surrender, our spiritual feelings of dainya, humility, our spiritual feeling of meekness, our spiritual feeling of total dependence on Krishna. So these are all very strong feelings, sentiments, emotions, spiritual emotions, which are fully manifest in the heart of a pure devotee. Now, because the three modes of material nature are covering our heart, we cannot manifest these emotions in their full magnitude. Although we may experience a little bit of it, but we cannot experience it fully. In that condition that we are currently in, if we are asked to submit prayers to Krishna, we will probably end up submitting our prayers to Krishna. Krishna, solve my disease. Krishna, solve my salary problem. Krishna, solve this problem. That's all that we'll know. Isn't it? Before we came in touch with Prabhupada and Krishna, we still used to go to temple. I remember I also used to go to temple. When I used to go to temple, my prayer would be, Krishna, tomorrow is exam. Please ensure that I pass in the exam. And tomorrow is the interview. Please see that I get the job. And after I got a job, I'll go to temple. Krishna, tomorrow is this one, performance appraisal. Please see that I get a good hike. I should get a promotion. I should get a better job in some other company. This is what we'll pray. Because those spiritual emotions are not awakened in our heart, we'll pray according to what the three modes are dictating to us. And prayer is a very, very important part of our development in spiritual life. Because when we pray to Krishna, Krishna becomes pleased. And if Krishna is pleased, we become pleased. If Krishna is pleased upon us, our anartha nivritti will happen. Our contaminations which are there within the heart, they will get wiped out. And if we go and pray like this to Krishna, then will Krishna be pleased? Krishna will, slap his forehead and say, what is this, yaar? You are coming to me and asking all these things. You don't have anything else better to ask. So, therefore, in our present condition, we have to be taught what to pray also. And therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam has multiple prayers by various personalities. There are prayers by Kunti Maharani, there are prayers by Dhruva Maharaj, there are prayers by Shukadeva Goswami, there are prayers by Suta Goswami, there are prayers by Gajendra, there are prayers by Vedas personified, there are prayers by Brahmaji, all such great personalities, so that when we recite those prayers, we learn what kind of prayers are suitable to be offered to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Urivaya, who is supposed to be glorified with the choicest prayers. If we don't know how to pray itself, then what will I go and pray to the Lord? How will I glorify the Lord suitably? These prayers which are there in the Bhagavatam, which are given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like the Shikshashtaka, the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the prayers of Narottam Das Thakur, all these prayers are there, these bhajans are there to teach us how to glorify Krishna, what kind of prayers are suitable to be offered to Krishna. We should not be offering something which is third class or fourth class or 10th class. Everything for Krishna has to be of the topmost quality. When we recite these prayers, we actually learn what are the kind of prayers we can offer. What are the kind of feelings that can be genuinely expressed in our prayers to Krishna? Otherwise, we'll invent and concoct something of our own. So, invention and concoction is not part of bhakti. Bhakti means Mahajano yenagata sapanthaha. There is already a set standard path which is there. A very scientific path is there. We have to follow that path. Offering prayers is also part of that path. And therefore, when we learn the prayers of these personalities, number one is we learn what kind of prayers are suitable to be offered, what kind of genuine emotions can be expressed through those prayers. Number two, what happens is whether we recite it with full emotion or not, those words, that prayer has been invested with the emotions of the original author, whether it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whether it is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whether it is Dhruva Maharaj or whoever it is. And therefore, when we recite those prayers in front of Krishna, Krishna sees not only that you are praying, you are submitting those prayers. Krishna also gets reminder of the original prayer given by Dhruva Maharaj. And therefore, Krishna will become pleased. Our submission of those prayers, our recital of those prayers is actually not that I am feeling those things. I may not be feeling those things, but I know that this prayer was offered by Dhruva Maharaj, this prayer was offered by Shukadeva Goswami, this prayer was offered by Brahmaji, and it pleased Krishna. Therefore, I'll recite those prayers once again so that Krishna again becomes pleased. Our submission of prayers of other great personalities of Mahajanas is to please Krishna. Our whole goal is what? We are here to please Krishna. How do we please Krishna? One of the ways of pleasing Krishna is by reciting prayers which have already been offered to Krishna by some other great personalities, and by offering those prayers, they have already pleased Krishna. So we again recite those prayers, Krishna becomes again pleased. Therefore, and third thing that happens is, when we go on reciting those prayers, gradually those actual spiritual emotions will start awakening in our heart. Today, if we are chanting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayers, that Govinda Virehename, out of separation from Govinda, even a second is appearing like 12 years. Yugayate, it appears like a full yuga. So today, if I chant that prayer, I may not feel anything at all. It may be just some Sanskrit words I am quoting. But if I am going on repeating it day after day, day after day, day after day, and you are simultaneously doing devotional service, you are chanting your 16 malas, following the regulative principles, following the sadhana practice, all those kind of things we are doing, after 1 year, when you chant the same prayer, you'll feel something is happening in the heart. We may not be able to explain it immediately, but somewhere the quality of your chanting will definitely be much better than what it was when you started 1 year ago. And the same prayer, after following all the devotional principles, following the instructions that Prabhupada has given for, say, 10 years, after 10 years you chant the same prayer, the quality will not be the same as the way you chanted the same prayer at the beginning of your devotional life. The quality of your chanting that prayer will have improved. Some better realization would have emerged. When you chant that prayer, there will be some awakening of some feelings within the heart. This is the effect of chanting the prayers of great Vaishnavas, pure devotees. We go on chanting those prayers, gradually you will see the emotions will start awakening. And therefore, chanting those prayers of the great Vaishnavas has a great important role to play in our spiritual life.